Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, once again from the Corner House Newcastle United Women's podcast. I'm Joe Kenja, this is Dale Parker, and he is Lee Gary Lawler. Ladies and gentlemen,
by full names.
Full names. Joseph Simon Linsdale. Do you have a middle name?
Yeah.
What's your middle name?
Stephen.
Dale Stephen Parker. Ooh, that makes you sound quite posh, mate.
So it's DSP.
DSP. Ooh, I like that. That makes sense now.
Sorry.
See, you're learning things here. Simon. You've got Simon, you've got Stephen, and you've got Gary.
Well, technically mine's a double. Well, we're not getting into that.
We're not getting into that, yeah. Look, before we get into this, obviously, as per usual, hit the like, hit the share, hit the subscribe, give her a 5-star rating if you're listening back. But if you are listening back, you need to go and watch the footage and see these cool sunshades that I'm wearing and the cool top Dale's wearing. Lee's looking boring as ever.
I'm just boring.
I like his cap though.
I've got my racing jersey on.
That's the one. Rate who's got the best outfit.
I'll get a Singapore hat.
Of course you will. But yes, I also want to say a special little shout out to a gentleman, sorry I don't know your name quite yet, but I'm certain I'll learn soon, who comes into the Costa I work at, and he's been very, very heavily praising the work that we do on the women's podcast, and he popped into my Costa. He's been in a couple of times now, and it's always a pleasure to see you. So my friend, thank you very much, and I hope you enjoy this episode as well. Kushti.
Thanks, stranger.
What is this going to be? This is going to be rating the players. We are going to go through the squad and we're going to rate these players on what we think, and there could be some controversies. We could end up getting into a scrap. I am 1 pint deep so far, so we'll see what ends up happening. I can take these two. Anyways, look, the retention list is imminent any time. The retention and releases list is imminent any time right now, and let's start off with a very, very easy one who you can't really give a score because she hasn't played. She's played one match for about 5 minutes, and that's Grace Donnelly. So a more important question would be, would you keep her if you could? If she wasn't leaving, she hasn't announced her leaving, would you keep Grace?
Nah. As much as a heavy heart is, I think she's not playing, and is she happy to stick around again and not play again, and then not play again? So whatever she decides, I think it's probably the right call, I would say. Yeah. With a heavy heart, but not applicable in it.
It is. It's a hard one to go on. Dale, would you keep her if you could?
I agree with Lee. I'd say it's, she's not getting the playing. She's not getting game time. She got the one game for 5 minutes. Would you really want to sit on the bench? Just like, am I going to get a game? 5 minutes again. And she's been a loyal servant to the club. And thanks, Grace, for all the hard work that you've done for the club. We'll miss you.
I agree. I want to keep Grace in a coaching role, but obviously it's not to be, and I hope she does amazing in our future. Hannah Hawkins, another one who hasn't played any games. We're going to get all these easy ones out the way nice and quick for you. Do you keep Hannah Hawkins?
Nah, if I had my own way, I probably wouldn't. I would probably keep Claudia. But not for me. I think she will stay, but if I had my own way, I think that we could potentially look at maybe younger keepers and develop them, and then hopefully one day take over Claudia. I
do have a name that I want to mention when it comes to that, but another video. Dale, keep Hannah?
Yeah, like I say, if I had my own way, I'll get another goalkeeper in, but at the minute you just can't. At the minute she'll stay until we get another high top class goalkeeper in that will be fighting Claudia for the top spot.
I like that. I agree more with Dale than I do with Lee on that one. So now we're getting
that's a first.
I'll end up with 6 players that I'm keeping here.
So we'll go on to Claudia Moan. She has been the number one between our sticks this whole season. Obviously, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you're putting your comments in. Let me know your ratings. Let me know your opinions on any of these questions asked. I'm going to start with you, Dale. Claudia Moan this season. What kind of rating do you give Claudia?
I would give Claudia a 7 out of 10. She's been solid all the season. You're going to have her ups and downs. She has had her downs, but she's had a lot more ups than she has downs. So she's saved her a lot of times as well. So it's good average season.
7 out of 10 from Dale. Lee?
Yeah, I'd agree. I think the 7's fair. I think she had a bit of a sticky point where it was Southampton at home, then the Bristol City away one, and then obviously our family were jumping on social media, which is never wise to do, but obviously, it's someone that they love and cherish, so I kind of get that from a parent's point of view. But yeah, fine. Distribution, fine. Absolutely spot on. I think she's here to stay. So I would go along with that 7.
I think it's an all round for me as well, because I would agree it's a 7. It's hard to give her less than a 7 because there's been many times she's made phenomenal saves. It's hard to give her more than a 7 because there's been times where there's mistakes, such like that. I think 7 out of 10's fair for Claudia Moan. She has been brilliant this season, and she's done the job that she's needed to do. Yes, she hasn't got the Golden Glove this season, sadly. However, we've been in a learning curve. So moving on to the defence, and I want to start with the one, and I'm going to give you my rating first on this one because I've got 2 ratings. Demi Stokes. At the start of the season, I probably would have given Demi Stokes a 3 out of 10. 3 or a 4 out of 10. And I'm confident to say that. A lot of people are going to be like, Joe, you're back crazy. I'm confident in that because I spoke to Demi's face about this sort of stuff.
And you were scared?
I was very scared because I was out there criticising a Euro-winning Lioness. Like, you know, that's quite a big chip on your shoulder, isn't it? But
what is Joe now?
By the end of the season, I've got to give Demi Stokes a 9 out of 10. I know some people might see that as a little bit high, but for me, she has done nothing but improve all season. She's been crucial in attacks, and for being a defender of age.
Hey, we're all in with 30.
We're all of age. You know what I mean? It's for me. She is playing above her station. She's been extremely fast. She's been extremely. Her endurance has been brilliant. Her stamina has been brilliant. Her distribution to attackers has been amazing. Passing on to the midfield, making attacks happen, making defences happen. I have enjoyed Demi Stokes playing for the Toon. 9 out of 10 from me. Lee?
I wouldn't go the high. I'll say 8. I think it's still been a fantastic season for her. A bit sluggish for the first half a dozen of games, but I kept telling you as well, didn't I? Again, she'll come good. She will come good, and she has. I think it was just getting used to her teammates. Calibre of players is probably a little bit less than what she's used to originally at the time. But for someone who is in her early 30s, she can get up the pitch still, which I really do enjoy. Leadership skills just toned up towards the end of the season. Which is good to see, and I think she just fully deserves to be here next season. And I'll score an 8. It's just an absolute, and not just that, it's just a leader. If someone joins the club and think, blooming hell, Demi Stokes is here.
Yeah, it's huge.
It's a positive, isn't it?
Dale?
I agree with Lee. For an 8. Yeah, I can understand where you're going for the first couple of games, but me and Lee both told you just give her a couple of games. She needs to get in. Just gel with all the players. It's like a new team for Demi, so she just had to get up the way. But like once she got up to speed, you can see why she got in Lioness's squad in the first place. Just like still bombing down the wings, crossing, defending. Like Lee said, communication, leadership skills. Sure, that experience passes on the experience to the other youngsters that hasn't really played at a more higher level. So that just shows how a strong character Demi is, and an inspiration for the other lasses going, we've got a former Lioness, we can easily get in two of the squad that we mentioned later on. They've got into the under 23s, which is great to see. Just that's like another platform for the other lasses to inspire on.
Agreed, love that. Talking about communication and leadership, move on to another defender. That defender, Charlotte Potts. Now, first half of the season, we've seen Charlotte Potts plenty. Dale, what's your rating for Charlotte Potts this season?
For the first start, before she got the injury, I would give Charlotte a 7 out of 10. At the start, she was like the strong force at the back, getting all the challenges in, communication with all the defence, and obviously with Claudia as well. It's a shame that we lost her, because when we lost her, we kind of lost one of the strong dynamics of the centre backs. But still, so 7 out of 10. Unfortunate injuries played to our less game time.
Agree on that. Lee?
I agree. I'm agreeing with Dale quite a bit here.
Whoa.
I think I would probably score a higher if she played longer. The injury has knocked her score down. It's no fault of her own, but the injuries are part of football, unfortunately. Wasn't in the team at the beginning, if you remember. It was Rachel Furness playing centre back, and then she got in after 4 or 5 games in, and then got a good real run. Another one who's a leader, and she'll be here next season again. And classy on the ball, quite comfortable playing at championship level. She could probably even do a job for a lower end WSL side right now as well. So if Newcastle were to go up, I don't necessarily think she'll need to leave. But I stuck calm, steady, chips in goals. She can play in midfield if she needs to. Class act 7.
For me, I'm probably can't agree with 7 personally. I think I'm going to go more of a 6 out of 10 for Charlotte.
Wait till you see Bernie.
I know Bernie's going to have me, isn't it?
I don't see the first game of the season, John. Now what's happening?
Yeah, you do. You know, I've been lynched. No, I'm going to give Charlotte a 6. I think it was strange to see because Charlotte has got slight championship experience and she's excelled in the past up here, and I just think for me personally it was a matter of she didn't get into the ground, she didn't hit the ground running like we're used to with Potsy, so maybe it's a matter of having too high expectations because of what I've expected for a lot of seasons. But for me it's 6 out of 10. I just think at the start of the season, and maybe the injury was niggling her, there could be reasons to it, because for me I was questioning it. I was like, this isn't normal Potsy, she's not giving it as all as what she usually does. But yeah, 6 out of 10 for me. And we're going to move on to a person who I would say sort of acted as a replacement, especially in the back half of the season. Certainly shares the first name, and that's Charlotte Wardlaw. Lee, what rating are you giving Charlotte Wardlaw for this season?
I'll start again at 7. I think that's fair. I think we were a little bit uncertain where she's going to play when she first joined. Is she full-back? Is she going to play and hold in midfield? But she's playing centre-back. Again, she's looked fine. She looks comfortable. The Durham game was a little bit of a test for her, I do feel, but apart from that, I think it's been pretty easy for her, to be fair, and that's a credit to her, just coming in halfway through the season, slicking in. And it'll be good competition for her when Potsy's available, fully fit, and then you've got Deanna next to her. So whether Charlotte plays there, as in Wardlaw plays there next season, remains to be seen. But yeah, good start her Newcastle career. I'm sure she'll get better. 7 out of 10 for me.
Dill?
It's like a theme coming on. I agree with Lee. 7. I was the same when she first came in. I was like, I didn't know much about her, where she's going to play, where did we buy her there, but she's been solid in the back. She formed a brilliant partnership with Deanna in the back, and it's just like, to me, Charlotte Wardlaw is like Potsy. She's just like kind of got like a similar character and
bit of a coup to get her from Chelsea.
Exactly.
I know she was out on loan, but to say I'm leaving permanently is a big step, because look, Chelsea win everything.
Exactly. But just seems like she was willing to drop down a level and all. Well, like not like the championships, like permanently. Yeah. But like to just drop down the division, like joining Newcastle's on a high. They want a project. They're wanting bigger things. They want to go in the Super League. They want to compete. And just drop down there, and she just fits straight in. Like all of a sudden, just like she fit in. She's like just been here all season. So it's great to see. So good leadership. Like I say, it's going to be a good but friendly banter between all of them. Going right, I'm getting them to centre back spots, and it's good to see. You need that though. You need competition to really to raise your game.
I think for the first one, I'm going to disagree, and quite heavily disagree with both of you. Negatively.
Wow.
Charlotte's back end of the season, the last few games, I thought she was absolutely brilliant. I think Wardlaw really excelled. Think prior to that, when she was coming on, she seemed a little bit lost as to where she should be playing. And for me, I'm giving Charlotte Wardlaw a 5 out of 10. I think there's something there with her. So Wardlaw, I will not fight the law, and I will not win. But I think Charlotte.
Award.
First award. Now that.
Yeah, I know. Look, I think with Charlotte Wardlaw, she has potential. She certainly has a place in this team where I think she will grow with time and experience in her position. But so far this season, I think there's been a few times where you can put mistakes to goals that have led to us only taking 1 point away from a game, or even losing a game. I think Charlotte has been one of the ones who's been at fault. Now, this happens with defenders. They all end up at fault. You can't be perfect every single day of your life, unless, of course, you are me. But apart from that, yes, I'm giving Charlotte a 5 out of 10 there. Let us know if you disagree in the comments about that one, because these two disagree already, and they'll probably be in the comments on secondary accounts giving us grief. But
if you agree with that, you can give Joe a slap next time you see him.
Yeah. I've just agreed to that. Thanks. Jamie Gallen's going to be first and then heading that line. Anyways, moving swiftly on to Leah Cataldo now. This is a one who I think's hard to judge given the time that she's had on the pitch, but I'm going to start off, and I think Leah has not excelled this season. I think she's kept the same performances and same style that she had last season, so for that reason I'm going to give Leah a 7 out of 10. 7 out of 10, I think that's fair. Deal?
Yeah, I would say 7. It seems to be the average rating. All of a sudden, 7s. Yeah, but I agree. She's got the same playing style as what she did last season, but I still think it's just not used to this, not quite gelled, and like of our signings have come in and they've gelled really well. I think Leah's more kind of like taking that time rather than rushing in, just taking that time getting gelling in there, but just improving. Yet again, she has been out with with an injury, like kept that game time down a bit again, but still average. She's still gotten good down on the ball, crossing in, passing there. It's good defensive, so we're looking good.
Lee?
Oh, this is going to be a disagreement. I can tell.
It's a 6 for me. It's not as bad as what you were thinking. I think it's I'm taking injury into factor, a bit like Potsy as well. Defensively, I think she'll work on her game. Even Becky said that against London City Lionesses. The one time she backs off, she doesn't go and score. Durham as well, another one. She was poor defensively, but I think she's fantastic going forward, and someone that hopefully Daisy Burt, if she does stay, that can, look at her game, because it's going forward. She's the modern day full-back, which is fantastic. Obviously, she came as a left back, moved across right back. So a couple of reasons there. If she played full season, I'd probably knock that up 1 mark, but no, I'm going to stick to my 6. I think that's more fair.
I think that's fair. And to go on to the last dedicated defender, a player who we've brought in as a defender and was meant to be a defender, and she has played a defender most of the season. The club's player of the season, controversy abound, Deanna Cooper. Now, I say controversy abound, we all rate Deanna Cooper nicely. She's been brilliant. I would certainly say she is a contender for player of the season, and because of the role she has filled and because of the 2 goals that she scored, which were extremely crucial, Deanna is going to make it into probably my top 5, and I'm giving Deanna...
I'm going to stop you there, Joe, because she scored more than 2 goals.
No, but 2 of the goals that she scored were really, 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 really needed.
You were sat next to Dale in one of them.
I know.
Yeah,
I would say that it's St James's Park, it was mental. But we were all there. I know what exactly... To me, that is the goal of the season for me.
Oh, yeah. It was needed, and it would warrant that. So, if you haven't guessed already, Deanna Cooper, yes. For me, I'm giving her a 9 out of 10. I think she has really filled a bill that not many of were expected to. And now, if you go back to the first couple of games of the season, I've probably rated her low, and I've probably spoke a little bit negatively of her. Seems like I've got a theme going on there. But Deanna has done nothing but improve throughout the whole season, and she has been incredible. For me, it's 9 out of 10. Lee?
I agree. Again, right at the start, little bit cost them a goal, recovered well. I think it was a sloppy back pass, wasn't it? And then she recovered really well, so she's looked absolutely fantastic. And for me, I think she's first choice centre back now. I think she's gone ahead of Potsy. I think if you could only play with one centre back, she would be the centre back. But obviously you play with 2 to 3 nowadays in modern day football. But class, just a proper loves to defend.
Yes.
And I think she gets a massive high from that. She's no nonsense. She'll clatter you if she has to. She'll kick it out in a rose head. Different to Potsy, where Potsy's neat and tidy and like lay it off to someone else. Just absolute class. 4 goals this season. That Man United one in the cup was absolutely a highlight. She's not renowned for that, don't get me wrong, but defensively she's the best defender this season. 9 out of 10.
Well, I'm going to go 8 out of 10. So I'm going to go
get higher there.
I'm going to go 1 below yours, and for that reason, she's had a great season. She has scored in my opinion, the best goal of the season for the lasses. We were down there in Manchester, running from our own half, just all the way. Just remember, just like going, go on, keep going. Just she had Lee shouting on the left hand, just shoot, and she did. And the reason I give her an 8 is she peaked a bit. Like she had some weaknesses in her performance in the back. Just led to some goals, less communications. But for me, that's an 8 out of 10. She is I agree with Lee. First choice centre back, but then definitely one of them, and the other 2 is up for everyone else for grabs.
I like that. One dedicated defender I have not forgotten to mention. It's just there's not much of a rating you can give her, and that is one of my favourites, Jodie Bartle. So I suppose the question is, and I think everyone knows what answer I'm going to give to whether you would keep Jodie Bartle. Obviously, I get rid of Jodie Bartle instantly. No, I keep her all day long. I would keep Jodie till the end of days. Lee, do you keep?
We don't know what's properly happening, but I will say behind the scenes, Stewie. So it's non-applicable, isn't it? Because you can't really score after just barely kicked a ball. So very, very unfortunate. Obviously, even the season before that, she got injuries, and proper person who gets Newcastle as well. Wants to mix in with the crowd, sticks on the black and white, gets the scarf going. She might be down south, but she's literally a Jodie Hart the way she goes on. So it's sad what's happening, but hopefully she stays with the club in some capacity. But we've all got to score non-applicable, haven't we?
Yeah.
If you were going to give like behind the scenes a rating, it'd be a 10 no matter what, because like behind the scenes, even when she was injured, she was in the comm box. Yep. She was in the commentary, doing commentaries, mixing with the fans, even sitting with the fans on the sidelines, even giving like encouragement to the lasses, even when she wasn't playing. You give that there, but obviously she has got game time, so being non-applicable. But I would definitely keep Jodie Bottle. You need that kind of character, even if she's not playing there. You know for a fine fact, if you want some advice or anything, Jodie's the person to go to.
So moving on to players who have sort of shifted positions a lot this season, and I'm going to start with a very, 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 very strong one, especially talking about characters. That is the hard as nails. Thanks, Ferdinand. The hard as nails.
Oh, he has let go, hasn't he?
He has. He really has.
Are you missing Liv out, like?
No. Liv what's coming up. Liv what's coming up as well. Don't you worry. But it's hard to judge.
I thought for a second you forgot it, but I was like,
Rachel. Of course, I wouldn't forget. Liv Isabelta. Rachel Furness, hard as nails. Now, do you rate her as a midfielder? Do you rate her as a defender? Or do you just rate her for how nails she looks on a pitch? Lee, start with you. Break this one down. Rachel Furness, what rating are you giving her?
Yeah, I love Fernie. I think that's not a well-known secret, is it? I absolutely adore her. I think she's class. I think she is like literally what a Jodie lass is. She'll stick up for your pals. If you're in a fight, she'll literally chin them, which is class. She would. But on the pitch, is literally a leader. One of the best headers never mind the club, in the league. You didn't want to get up against her in the air. Yeah, versatile despite her age. Still playing for Northern Ireland. Northern Ireland's top goal scorer. She has ambitions to play, of course, for Northern Ireland, and look, whatever she does, I think she's still had a fantastic season. And she had a little bit of an injury, didn't she? But it wasn't that too. She was out for 6 weeks, 7 weeks. I think the club missed her because we weren't playing that well. And when she come back on the sides, we start winning games again. They're going to influence. I don't think she's in the top 3 for me, but I think she's just outside of that. I'll score her an 8.
8, like that, Dill?
I agree with Lee. Give her an 8, because when she was the injury, yet again the injuries influenced it, but still, like, character off the pitch, was with the encouraging lasses. That's what you need without, like, to have more experience like that and pass on, even if they're not playing it, and pass on the advice to the younger lasses. And like, even like when she was playing centre back, she was still dominating the area. In midfield, she was still dominating the area, and just like even holding up play was brilliant. Communication, everything. So, and off the field, mixes in with the fans straight away, talks with all of us. That it's just like outgoing person, and it's good to see that she's, unfortunately, like she has told her that she is leaving the club, which for me I would have kept Rachel Furness. And I said it after the Blackburn when I saw her, when one more year, and she just laughed, and she'll be missed. Like, she'll be a massive miss.
Oh, aye. She will be a miss. I've got to say it's the exact same for me. 8 out of 10. However, Amanda did tell us if you're doing rating the players, you need to make sure that you say Fernie for her is a 12 out of 10. I don't know why she picked 12, but she picked 12, and she always talks about how she's got Fernie's signature on her fridge, and she locks eyes with her every day, and she's like, oh, hi Fernie. So yeah, Fernie, you've got a number one fan in me partner Amanda. Lewis Jewell. Now, it's a hard one for me because she's a defender technically, but she's played more of a defensive midfield role. It's hard, but I think she's filled in positions, and towards the back end of the season she's been decent. But I think the first half of the season, whenever she was getting game time, she wasn't impacting us enough as what you would expect from the former captain of London City Lionesses. You were expecting a very big, that was a coup to us. On that, I'm giving Lewis Jewell a 6 out of 10. Lee?
I agree. If she didn't have the good form towards the end, I would knock that further down, and she started to become a bit of a scapegoat, I felt, for a few fans. Because her performances weren't there. I remember when we were after the Man United game, we asked Becky about Lewis Jewell. You could tell by Becky's answer that she wanted more from her. Going into that second half of the season, it was time to have a break. And I think that second half of the season she has improved. She's got back in the team, starting more games now. That might have just saved her Newcastle career towards our form towards the end of the season, but I think we need to see more from her next season. But 6 for me.
Great.
I totally agree. 6 all around. I was the first half of the season, I was like, like all the hype was like, oh, we got this brilliant player from the nicest captain. I was kind of not impressed. I was thinking, well, where's the hype? Where's all this hype there? It's just like she didn't look. I didn't know if she hasn't gelled in with it the first half. With like she hasn't gelled properly. She didn't know what there, but like she's massively improved in the second half, which was great to see, which she needed there. And you can just see the confidence it going back there, going right. I know what I'm doing there, but like it's filling in, like what you said, Joe, filling in positions. She didn't know where is Becky going to play all the time, because she was going right back, she was going centre mid, defence mid, right wing, and that can be confusing because if you're in one role and you're going, well, I know he plays this, well, why am I right there? But it's good to see her like in the defence and the centre mid role. That's where I think she belongs, because she looks a lot more comfortable in the middle, having players around her. So it's good to see. So 6 out of 10.
6 out of 10. That's 6 out of 10 all round there. Olivia Watt, who has missed 90% of this season. For me personally, everyone knows I'm a massive advocate of Olivia Watt. I think she's fantastic. I think when she's came back, she has filled a brilliant little role and she's shown that flair that Olivia Watt has. But I also think she's struggled as well with being so late into the season, coming back into a squad that's playing at such a higher level, as we've seen with many different players this season who've struggled, who we didn't expect them to. For me, I am probably going to give Liv Watt my lowest ever scoring of Olivia Watt. I'm giving Olivia a 6 out of 10, simply because the only real job that she's done when she's came in is show a same style. Ideally at this stage you want a player to show that little bit more, and there's a lot of speculation about Liv going. I hope she doesn't, but for me it's a 6 out of 10, and I see her coming into it next season. She stays fit, she comes out and she's going to give them performances and she's going to improve. Dale?
I totally agree with you, and I'll say 6 out of 10. Because I think what happened is like she's had like 90% there. She's had a long injury. I don't think she wanted. I think what it is with Liv, when she came back, she didn't want to go all out because she didn't want to aggravate the injury again, and she just wants to ease her way back in gently and give her a little game time. So I think she's just been on the cautious side. I think I'll keep Liv Watt again, and I think next season she'll be fighting for Leah Cataldo and all that for the right back position.
Like it. Like
5 for me.
Okay. Oh.
Might turn to be nasty now. No,
What?
it's not.
What?
Again, I rate mine on if you've been injured for a long time. It does knock a score down for every single player being fair doing that. I think she's second choice in every position now. Right back and centre back. There's people ahead of her. If you look at centre back, Potsky's not in the team. She can't get in the team. Potsky's out injured, and people are being picked ahead of her. At right back, she doesn't get picked there. Lewis Joel will if Cataldo's not there. So she's technically third choice. She's only getting cameo appearances at the moment. It's an uncertain future for her, but I haven't come away from a game and think, wow,
yeah,
you know what I mean, what a performance, because she hasn't had the opportunity to. So that probably knocks her down. Not in terms of ability. My score is based on the whole picture. Getting in the start 11, are you a regular? Have you had many injuries? What's your form like? So 5 for me.
Do you keep her?
Probably just, but she needs a big season.
Obviously, we're going to keep her, do you know what I mean? But I wanted to see with you there.
Just
yeah.
I was thinking Lee was going to go no.
I thought he was as well. That's why I asked that. Obviously, make sure you're keeping up with letting us know in the comments what your ratings are, who you think we should keep, who you think we should maybe sell. If you hear a player that we talk about that we want to keep, or another player that we've given a high rating and you're like, nah, shoot them down, go for it. Shoot them down in the comments if you're brave enough. Bring it on. Moving on to the midfield now. I move on to the midfield with this one because for me she has mostly been a central midfielder and a central defensive midfielder. It is our Capitan. It is Amber Keegan Stubbs. Now I know Lee's a massive fan of Amber Keegan Stubbs, so I'm going to start with Dale, then I'm going to go to me, and I'm going to go to Lee last. Build a bit of suspense.
I know
for
what
him,
Dale's going to be.
Dale?
Because it's his player of the season, isn't it?
Stubbsy.
Of course, like, she's justified it. I'm going to give Amber a 9 out of 10 because she's just been, for me, like injury. She has been the back end of the season. She has had a little niggle injuries, so that's why it's down to a 9. If she played the full season without injuries, it'll be a 10 because what can you not say about Amber? She's been like, when the times are down, we were losing, Amber would just come around, rally the girls back up, and all of a sudden they just kicked like a new gear. and she's been there. Like when we're losing there, she decides to go in that the midfield role, and she played centre back as well. But she's just been a leader, showed character. Even when like she got like red carded against, I forgot who it was, but she got red carded there. She got there, but like she was still like telling lasses, "Come on there," and like that's how brilliant she is. I've got no more words.
For me, and I feel like a lot of people will shoot me down for this, it's a 7 out of 10.
Whoa, wow.
Now, that seems very low.
Wow, that's very low.
How low can you go?
For me, if you ask most fans what was the worst game this season, they will say Charlton.
That was it.
Now, for me personally, Amber getting sent off, whether you agree or disagree she should have been sent off, it was a reaction that she shouldn't have done, especially as captain. She knows better. She has already said that herself. It is one that she should know better. She shouldn't react. It's lost us 3 extremely valuable points, and I feel like since that moment she let it knock our confidence a little bit. Prior to that point, I probably would have given Amber Stobbs a 10 out of 10. She was our player of the season. She was hitting balls out the park, left, right and centre. She was doing amazing, and I can't knock her. However, after the fact of that red card, yes, she bounced back well. I praise her for that. I think for the remainder of the season, she struggled a bit to keep her head mentally positive as Amber does. And look, do I think that makes her leave? No, I don't. I think Amber stays, and I think she goes on to have another 9 out of 10 season next season. And outside of the second half of the season, I think she has had a 9 out of 10 season. But there was a few key games there where she loses her normal ability and normal talent, and I personally think it's down to a head game thing from that red card. So it's a 7 out of 10 for me for Amber Stobbs. Lee?
I disagree with both of you. For the first time, I'll go 8. I think that's, again, I'm scoring it, and I agree with Dale. When we weren't winning the games, we were drawing quite a few. She was the one just, taking the game by the scruff of the neck and literally driving through. For someone who's in her early 30s, you wouldn't think that, because she's got fantastic ball control for someone at her age, and I think it's underrated. Yes, she hasn't got blistering pace, but she keeps the ball so close to her and just leading by example. So yes, she missed the last 4 or 5 games down to injury. I think it's been a good season for her, and she's playing a couple of positions, as Dale already said. So 8 for me.
8, I like that. Moving on to a one who's hard to judge based on injury, and I mean, she's been there, she hasn't been there, she's been there, she hasn't been there, and probably one of the ones who's got the favourite father, of course, Steve Kelly.
Hello, Steve. How's it going?
Hello, Steve. You all right, Steve?
Steve.
You all right, Steve?
You're wearing that Liverpool top. You're wearing those Liverpool tops again, mate. You better not be on holiday.
Steve. Emma Kelly. Emma Kelly. For me, I'm a 7 out of 10 for Emma. She's had a good.
Dale doesn't agree with that.
No, he doesn't. Right, we're coming to Dale last then. Yeah. Look, Emma Kelly. She's been great. She has a lot there, and it's just another one of those who last season, I wish she'd kept that form up, because last season she was phenomenal. Is it because of the step up in the league? Emma's been here before. You expect more of her. Are the expectations too high? Maybe so. It's 7 out of 10 for me. I wanted more. Lee?
I'll go 6. Injuries, again, I'm being fair with all these players. Missed, if you calculate, probably half the season, you'd probably say.
Yeah.
But she's unbelievable when she's on the ball. Her technique's brilliant.
Yeah.
Just the same. That's a shame. I think she's been missing that centre midfield. I think she's an upgrade on Lewis Stroll in there. But because of the injuries, again, you can't really help that, and that's probably me being harsh. But when she did come back, she was on the bench for a couple of games, wasn't she? Then she got an injury. So just inconsistency all around for me. So 6.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
This is why I like the corner house. You can order a nice little pint on the app, and I was meant to split the G there. You can order a nice little pint on the app, and they drop it off for you. I love that. Cheers, corner house. Dale, Emma Kelly, why are you ready to knock me and lay out?
No, it's the other way around. I've totally disagree with you, and now I'm going to go 5.
Whoa!
The reason, agree with Lee with the injuries. With the injuries, she's been out there, but for me, this is just my opinion. For me, when she's been coming on and starting games, I haven't been massively impressed. It's like, wow, what a performance by Emma Kelly. It's I don't know if it's because of the injury, it's the confidence, she doesn't want to get injured again. I don't know if that's why, but for me, that's it's just, I haven't been impressed.
Steve, I'll get the balaclava on, I'll get your address, son, don't worry.
Knock him out.
Knock him out. Hannah Greenwood. Now, there is another one that I technically probably should have put in the defender midfield category because she's been switching roles a hell of a lot. Dale, Hannah Greenwood, what's your rating this season?
I'm going to give Hannah Greenwood an 8.
Okay.
Because even like playing, she's been mainly centre back and centre mid. She's been solid, good communication with all the good communications character. She's a workhorse. She will run right down from minute 1 to minute 90, no matter what. And she's been solid. She's been solid wherever you put her. And yeah, definitely an 8.
Me?
High 7, low 8. I'll go an 8. I'll go 8.
7.5.
No, we don't do halves. That's Johnny and
Halves.
Sam. I'll score her an 8 because of the flexibility. She's been ever present. I think she's played, if not with Claude Amon, I'm sure she's right up there, the very top in the amount of games. In all comps, she might be actually number 1. But reliable. She's a 7 or an 8 every single week if she's defence midfield. Or centre back, she's not the prettiest on the ball, no, but what she will give is heart. So for that reason alone, that'll do for me.
I'm going with a solid all-round 8 for me. Hannah Greenwood is one who I know you were saying earlier about people using players as scapegoats. I think a lot of the time Hannah Greenwood is used as a scapegoat, and I think that's because she's one of those players who you don't notice her work unless you specifically watch her for the full 90 minutes and you notice all of a sudden, whoa, she just intercepted that ball and knocked it towards Freya Gregory, and Freya Gregory passed it on to Shania Hales and Shania Hales scores. Real moment. These are things that I rate in players who do work off the ball, and I think Hannah Greenwood is one of our hardest workers off the ball. She gets a solid 8 for me, and she
doesn't want the limelight either.
Yeah,
and she deserves to have the limelight. So
yeah,
fair play to her.
She's that kind. That's what I like about Hannah. She's like, everyone's like, oh, some people are always like, oh, limelight. She just focuses on her performance and what she can. Then whole time I was like, oh, great game, and she's like, yeah, I think I had like an average. I felt like, Hannah, you were brilliant. You were like, give yourself more credit because you're being phenomenal.
Yeah.
And just like, I think it's just like she reminds us of Potsy, because Potsy's more like professional and individual, and I think Hannah's been, once she's been like partnered centre back with her, she's kind of like put Charlotte as like a role model kind of thing. I want to play just like you kind of thing, which is great to see.
Jasmine McQuaid, swagger like Jazz. I'm going to start because I've probably got a bit of a controversial opinion. I think everyone expected more of Jazz this season. I personally did. Yes, she has had 1 or 2 goals in there that have been brilliant, as per usual from Jazz. However, I expected more, and I think she has struggled in the Barclays Championship, and she is one that I am hoping isn't on the release list. That said, I'm giving Jazz a 6 out of 10. I just don't think she has hit the same bills that she has previously, and her age has shown and lack of experience has shown this season. It can improve, and I hope she stays. Lee?
I'll go up 1 level. I'll go 7. She was called up for the England under 23s because of her form. She had a good start the season, and you've got to remember she's not in the 10, which we all think that she's better there. But obviously she's had to learn a new role, more of a disciplined role, a number 8 role, where you've got to protect your defence, you've got to get up and help your forward lines as well. So she's had to learn that. She's obviously took advice from Fernie as well. I think she's still learning the role. How long will it take her to master it? She's still really young. She's 23, 24. Plenty of time in her game to develop. But I do agree. I think it has been a little bit more challenging because she hasn't had the chains off to go and play her football. And if you have that, you've got to have really 2 midfielders behind her that can sweep up, and I just don't think Becky trusts the team to do that.
I like that. Dale?
I totally agree with Lee. I'm going to go with 7. She had a good start at the season. Her form was good. That's why she got called up to the under 23s. I think when she come back, her form's like dropped, and you could see, like, I agree with Lee, like, had to do a new role as a number 8 because she's been, the last 2 seasons she's been playing number 10. So Jazz is dangerous going forward, and that's what I think Jazz always knows best, is like attacking minded, because whenever you ever saw Jazz score tap in, she even said to us she doesn't score tap ins, and I think like she's more focused on attacking. What can I do? Scoring goals, passing the forwards and the wingers. All of a sudden it's like a take back going, whoa, I've never played this centre midfield role, and then all of a sudden the role there going, right now, rather than focus on attacking, you've got to do both. And I think she's still adjusting to it. Well, like I say, she's young, she'll just get used to it again in training and playing there, and that's all you can do is get playing and move on.
I like it. Isabel Sibley. Based on what
I look very smart right now, don't I? we were in this pub, weren't we?
Isabel Sibley. It's hard to rate. For me, I'm giving Isabel a 7 out of 10. She's shined at times, at other times she's fell under the radar. Dale, Isabel Sibley, what's your rating?
6 out of 10. Like I said, she's just gone under the radar, just had her ups and down moments, and just basically just an average season.
Yeah.
Nothing made you go, wow, what a performance by Sibley. So that's my 6.
6? Lee?
5.
I
I think you knew that was coming though, because we had a chat here on New Year, and I said Izzy Sibley won't be kept on at Newcastle. You and Dave had a right go at me, and I said just watch, because the ability, it's just not for me to take Newcastle at that next stage. So I wouldn't have made that permanent. Yeah, she's pretty, but on the ball, but where's the fight? Where's the challenges? Where's the assists? Where's the goals? She got a goal away at Birmingham. She got a couple towards the end of the season when the game was already won against Blackburn. But I think it's the right decision to send her back to Palace. Personally, I wouldn't have kept her on, and I think it was a poor season all round.
Fair. Now, before we move on to sort of wingers and your forwards, Alicia Body, one who we have pretty much. You haven't seen this season realistically. Alicia Body, do you give her a rating or do you just go keep or leave? For me, no. It's a keep. You keep. She's a massive prospect for the future. Yeah. She's huge. Dale?
Yeah, definitely keep her, but like I say, injury. It's hampered this season, so like I say,
how many games she played?
I think was it the first 4?
Maybe, yeah.
No, first half, because she got called up to the England squad and then got injured, so...
She's played a handful of games, it's maybe 5, 6 at best.
But when she has played there, she has been, like, her and Amber in the middle, we've been like, that's the reason why we had that strong start, because of them two in midfield. Like, when one was attacking, the other sat back, and vice versa, they were switching, so if you're going to do the first half, it'll be... First 7 games, I would say it'd be probably 7 for me.
7? Lee?
I want to give her non-applicable, because if I'm going to score over injuries, it'll be right down, but I don't think that's fair because she hasn't had enough game time to get a mark for me. But she's not to be replaced. It's just, if Newcastle strengthen midfield to play alongside her,
you keep her.
You strengthen that, and but it is a concern that she's having all these injuries, and it's just been now a 2 year, and she hasn't had a full season yet.
That is a worry. Let me know what you think, obviously. Moving forward to the forwards, to the wingers, to the ones who are more way attacking prowess, and I'm going to start with a lot of people's player this season, the Markham Slayer, Beth Lumsden. For me, she's my player of the season. She's a 10 out of 10. I'm sorry, but she's the only player for me who gets a 10 out of 10. There is one player who's missed out on 10-10, and I'll come up to that, but for me, Beth Lumsden is a 10 out of 10. Lee?
Not a 10, I don't think. I think she's a 9, a very high 9, but going up another level, my favourite player at the club as well. Technically brilliant, left foot, right foot, set pieces. She's got a little bit of competition with Freya Gregory, which is healthy, I think, as well, for set pieces, but chips in with some wonder goals. She doesn't like to tap in anymore, does she? But absolutely brilliant, lovely person as well, so positive and upbeat. So yeah, the team's going to be built around her, so we need possibly another winger in, left, right, depending on what we do with Poppy. But yeah, fantastic season, man. 9 out of 10.
I agree. I agree with you. She's had a phenomenal season, but 8 out of 10 for me.
Ouch.
What do you mean, ouch? Well, my reasons is like she's had a phenomenal season. Just had.
Who have you scored a 9? Just Amber.
Yeah.
No one else.
Just Amber?
Yeah, just Amber.
Okay.
She was like, well, if you're going to go...
Who have you scored in 8?
Nearly everyone else.
So you think Beth Lumsden's had the same season as others?
Well, if you can all disagree...
See what I'm doing here?
Yeah, no, it's all there, but...
Like, pile on.
But the main thing is I'm still sticking with an 8, although she's had a really brilliant season.
That's the biggest shock so
far. For me, like the January, February, she kind of went off the boil. She was like kind of like her form kind of dipped a bit, and then you weren't seeing the high press thing. She was just like having like average games. And then, but like I say, it's just like I did rate her second out of the best player of the season. So this can all have a disagreement, but everyone's got their own opinion. So
we respect your opinions, but we don't agree with them.
Full disclaimer: if you notice, Dale's the only one not sat with a drink, right? And that's because just before we got you, I had 4 shots of Sambuca off the trot, and this is why he's saying things like that. Okay, no problem. There you can.
You can do that, but you griefed your ratings.
That's the biggest shock so far.
That's the biggest shock.
That is definitely the biggest shock. Beth Lumsden and 8 Dale. Wow. But yes, everyone's entitled to their own opinions, so it is. So I'm going to go on to looking down the wing, and what do I see? It's Scotland's Freya Gregory. It's clobbering time. Freya for me has come in. She's hit the ground running. She's had a couple of moments. She seemed to be a player who's game in, game off. For that reason, I think she's got a great future. I think she is going to be a 9 out of 10 player on the regular. But this half season, I'm giving Freya Gregory a 7. Dale?
Yeah, I agree with you on that one, Joe. 7 for me. She has come in. Just came in. She hit the ground running. She was like dangerous on the wings, crossing in. It's just a couple of points dropped. Is like I think just needs to be a bit more decisive. Like because I've noticed on sometimes she's hesitant. Do I cross? Do I shoot? And then that's when giving the defenders a cross, like the right back to come across and just tackle her or close it down. So maybe like a few tweaks there. Should be 8 and 9s next season.
Like it, Lee?
I agree. Full house 7. And delighted to see her sign buzzing. She was the best player at St James's Park earlier in the season for Southampton. And again, quite another coup because she was effectively belongs to a WSL side, permanently leaving to have a feature at Newcastle. She's very much a confidence player. When it's not going well, she's not getting the ball, her head drops and she kind of like walks around a little bit, kind of a bit like Lauren Robert, where if it's not going well you can see it, but when it's on point, she can get down that wing and cross and set pieces as well. But big things for her next season. Can't wait to watch she has a full season and settles in probably. So 7.
Love that. And now we're going to move on to the player who is the only player for me personally who challenges Beth Lumsden for that 10 out of 10. We've got Emily Murphy. What a player. For me, I am giving Emily a 9 out of 10 simply because I can't give 9.5 out of 10 because he kicks off, right? Emily is getting a strong 9 out of 10, the whole package. If she had a full season and played that way, she'd be 11 out of 10. What a player she is. Emily, you're class. Lee?
I'd agree if I could give it a low 9 though, but I think there's a couple of others that have had a better season all around because of the fact she's only been here half the season. But look at her numbers. The assists, the goals, she can play left, right, in the 10, up front, gives Becky plenty of options for the systems, and if anybody's missing because of injury form, she can fill in. Hard as nails. I think she's up there with Fernie for me. That's a scrap and a half if those two got in the boxing ring, wouldn't it? Hard as nails, proper header of the ball, technique. Our debut away to Southampton that day when she came on, blooming hell, unbelievable. Come on, half time, changed the game. Newcastle were back in it. Absolutely incredible. What a performance. So yeah, and I don't even know what her best position is. That's how good she is.
Deal.
This is a controversial one because I haven't really saw her play. I've only saw her twice because obviously I've been away working, so I've missed.
Don't you watch the replays on YouTube?
I watch the replays, but like it's you can watch it on there, but it's not the same as like watching it like watching it there. It's completely different. So I can't really give a rating out of that because it's not fair.
Alright, then I'll accept that. I'll deal with them afterwards. Don't worry, I've got an empty glass here, everyone. Don't worry, that will be used well.
It's true though.
Yeah, I'll give you that. Fair enough. I'm going to bring 2 players up here on this one because I don't think it's fair to give both the Poppy Pritchard, Katie Barker. For me, Poppy Pritchard simply hasn't shown enough, and I'm going to put non-applicable, and I hope we stay with Poppy Pritchard. Lee?
Agree. Another one I was absolutely delighted. Sorry, there's a bit of in reverse and it's talking. Absolutely delighted to see her. I was like, blooming hell, we've got Poppy Pritchard because I've banged on about her for a good couple of years. Hopefully she has another season. She looked like she settled in pretty quick just by her TikTok accounts and with the other rest of the squad. So quality. Get her on loan again, another season, non-applicable.
Non-applicable, I agree. Obviously, unfortunately, injuries there, but I'll get her on loan again because she was brilliant. She played against us when we played Sestra, and she was phenomenal on the ball. So it'll be great to see her when she has like a full season.
Love that. Katie Barker. I am, for the first time ever, probably going to give Katie Barker and I hate this because Katie, you've been a phenomenal person to me, to my daughter, to everyone's kids, to everyone out there. But this season, I feel like we have seen Katie Barker's limit tested, and it hurts. When you go on the out of my voice, it hurts to say this, but I'm giving Katie Barker a 4 out of 10.
What, the worst one?
Yeah.
You thought I was savage. Freaking hell, Joe.
I just don't think when Katie has come on, she hasn't made
An impact.
any real impact. No.
Because she hasn't had the minutes though. Because that's the main thing. Like, I keep saying to this time and time again, what impact can you do in 10 minutes?
You could say the same about Olivia Watt, but at least you've noticed Olivia Watt on the pitch. Sorry, Katie.
Wow.
So I'll score a 5. I think because she does get used more often than not. She's played in 3/4 of the games. The problem is it's just not enough. And there is other people now ahead of her. We've got wingers now playing ahead of her. I mean, last season on that left flank, she was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
And I thought, yeah, you've got last season you had the two strikers alternating with Paige and Bridget, and she was moved to the left. Think, ooh, what's going to happen here? But she took it. She's played on the right. Hasn't looked great. She's played up top when she's come on. She hasn't scored this season. It's a very, very difficult season, but consistency, no injuries, which is positive. But a 5 for me.
I agree with you. 5 across board. Like, for me, the game time she's had limited
It's a concern
minutes.
about the future, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. That's what me and Joe were talking about. With the minutes that she's got, I said Katie Barker could possibly leave because she wants game time. No one wants to sit on the bench and come on for like 5 minutes and 10 minutes or even 15. You want like more longer game time. So Katie Barker could go. I don't want her to leave. I think she's, like I say, a loyal servant. She's been phenomenal last season on the left and all that. So she's a good player. She's keep improving. So hopefully next season she gets played a lot more. She gets more game time, more minutes, and to prove, you know what, guys, this is what I can do.
I hope so, Dale. That's what I want. Before we move on to the last couple of players, we're going to have a quick fire round, lads, because there's a few players who we've got out on loan, and I'm going to go with retain, loan, sell. So I'm just going to ask you, I want one word. That's all I want from you. Any more than one word, I'm going to slap the mic out your hand, Lee, and I'm going to move the mic away from your face. So, Georgia Gibson.
Let her go.
Georgia Gibson.
3 words,
Sell.
like.
Okay. Sell.
Unfortunately, she was
Becky Ferguson.
One more loan.
Loan. Haywood.
Let her go.
Loan.
I don't get why you would loan her though.
Yeah, no, that's what I said. Come
on,
on, Joe, you gotta give her a reason.
How old is she? I would actually now keep her in the squad.
Keep her. Because we're having less right backs.
Keep. So that's your loanees out. That is them sorted. And now we get down onto the big two, who for me, you've got two sides of a coin here. So I'm going to start with one side of the coin, which is Shania Hales. What's your rating, Deal?
I'm going to give her, although she's the top goal scorer, I'm going to give her a 7 out of 10.
What?
Yes, I'm
15 goals?
15 goals, but this is my worry, right? You top goal scorer scoring 15 goals, right?
You're going viral.
But have you not noticed she can't last 90 minutes?
That's true, but look at the goals.
Neither can Isak.
Well, Isak can. This season. The other reason is she doesn't last all like 90 minutes, which you need for a striker, as well as she's inconsistent. She scores loads of goals and then she goes off for like 6-7 games. She could just have an average game, doesn't get involved or
Two
anything
hat-tricks.
like that.
Two hat-tricks.
That's still two hat-tricks, but it's the
And again,
inconsistency.
Paige Bailey Gill did as well.
True.
Exactly.
True.
In what did you rate? I think you rated a 7 last as well as 7.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
that's the reason why. That's like the she is a phenomenal striker, but that's my main concern.
Lee?
Massively disagree. Massively. 9 out of 10. Contender for player of the season. 15 goals in 20 appearances in the league. Poof. That's 3 out of every 4 games. Doesn't care what level you're at, and you've got to remember she was playing left wing for half the season until she was moved to centre forward, and then there was a couple of games she was coming off the bench as being an impact player. Striker, score goals. Yes, I agree with Dale's point, she can go missing. Who cares? Look, the numbers are backs it up. 15 goals. That is incredible. Second top goal scorer of the season. Contender for the league's player of the season for a reason. Yeah, right there.
Agree with Lee. 9 out of 10. She is one of my players who would fit my top 5. Every time she is, a lot of people talk about, oh well, she doesn't have she's not present on the pitch, but hey, personally, if you ask me, neither was Alan Shearer, and he was Newcastle's top goal scorer.
I always use this when me and Dale go back. Van Nistelrooy, you'd never see him for 89 minutes,
and then he'd score.
What do people remember?
Scoring. You're a striker, you do a job. Which leads us on to my next thing, Amy Andrews. Now, I'm going to just go straight out. Everyone knows how critical I've been of Amy Andrews. If I was rating her for her work ethic or her persona, I would be giving her 15 out of 10 for both of those. She has got probably the best work ethic on the pitch. It reminds us of Katie Barker last season. She got moved position and she just went and hit the ground running and put that all in. Amy Andrews does that. However, she's a striker and she doesn't have enough goals. For me, Amy Andrews is a 6 out of 10. Lee?
Agree. And I think what saves her getting a 6, she played right wing towards the end of the season for the last 7 or 8 games, and she was ahead of Katie Barker doing that because Barker had a spell out there early in the season as a sub, and she looked actually pretty dangerous because of her pace and dribbling ability. She's got a couple of great goals in the League Cup against some higher opposition, so she can do it. It's just the consistency, and obviously that one against Man U lives long in the memory because it was, well, remember the commentary?
Yeah.
All that sort of stuff. It was like absolute class. Lovely lass, honestly. We've had interactions with her, absolutely heart of a diamond. She'll get a good club. Obviously she is leaving the club, she's already announced that, but I would agree a 6 is fair. But we need another striker to basically, to, like you mentioned, Shania goes missing in games. Bring someone else in and chip in with a few.
Yep. Dale?
6 all around. Like I say, she just like, she has a good moment and she just goes, like, sometimes she just goes missing, just oblivious. Like half the time when I've noticed that half the games it's like she didn't even seem interested in
a link up play.
Just like doesn't even like trying to pass and goal like that. Was like none of this, just on the wing. Even when she was on forward, she wasn't even making runs to make run balls behind. But she kind of picked up at the end of the last season, but not enough for me. Not enough for me to say, oh well, she's gonna stay. And then obviously she's leaving.
Fair. Well, I'm going to ask Lee one more question because last season when I done this, I missed a player. Have I missed anyone?
Don't know.
I don't think I have.
I suppose it's always Becky, isn't it? What we're up with manager.
Becky Langley.
We normally do manager.
Rating this season for Becky Langley, for me, it's probably my lowest rating of all the seasons that I've been watching Newcastle United Women. But I
really thought you were going to go the lowest. I was thinking
no. I will sideline it with she has learned and she has got better as the season goes on. For me, Becky Langley this season she's a 7 out of 10. She's held a good place in the league. She's done a job, but there's a few games we could have seen out better. 7 out of 10. Hopefully next season is an 8 or a 9. Lee?
I think she's an 8, considering we've just had a double promotion, and a lot of those girls are tier 4 ability, and they've had to improve and grow with her. And for us to only be a couple of points off third place come the end of the season, I think we've only had 4 league defeats. I might be wrong, 3 to 4. A lot of draws, but I think if I said top 5 as well at the start of the season, that will do it. And it's a hell of an achievement. And we didn't get promoted. It was never the aim, realistically. I know in the back of the mind that might have been for her, but towards the end of the season, I think once we knew we weren't going up, the pressure was off, and we started to perform better. But hopefully when the pressure is on next season, that the lasses do. But I think, I agree, it's a learning curve, but I think you can't really ask, you've just been promoted. Yeah. So the team that comes up, which is Nottingham Forest, if they finish 5th, they're going to love that.
Of course so. Dale?
I'm going to get back in 8 out of 10. Yeah. The main goal I told you at the start of the season was make sure we're not bottom. Make sure we stay, even if it was 10th by goal difference, the main thing was just stay up. And we've done a lot far better than I expected, because I said top 10 would be brilliant. Finishing 5th, 2 points behind 3rd. And at the start of the season, everyone's like, "Oh, this could be this promotion push." Because we start off really well, and then, like I say, too many draws. At the end of the season, there was too many draws in like winning positions were hard, and then it was just like some games were just the lasses like they're not used to it. Like what they said there, they were all like some of the lasses, but even like tier 4 working their way back up, and it's great to see Becky improving there.
I'm bursting for a wee. Outro.
So I'll wrap up then since he's running off to the loo. Big thing about obviously with Becky as well, because the expectation's going to go up again. So that could be a thing that we need to keep an eye on. Expectations from the fans will probably expect a promotion chase, whether we get up or not, who knows. Big summer with transfers. So yeah. So there we go, I'll wrap it up then. So we didn't expect this to be an hour. We were scheduled to do 2 half an hour, so maybe we'll have to come back and do the next one, which is going to be keep, release or loan. All the squad in more depth, but we'll do that in the next time. But yeah, from me, Dale
and Joe, who's just for some reason just ran off.
Yeah, he could have waited just an extra 60 seconds.
An extra minute, but it just proves like that's too many Guinnesses he's had, guys.
It is, he's probably getting another one. But yeah, from the corner house, we'll love yous and leave yous. Bye.
Bye.